quiet, modern kitchen, resting on the rustic wooden counter lies an ancient, forgotten resin. Through the fragile glass, we dive deep into the very soul of these dark, crimson crystals. Time strips away the present, pulling us backward across thousands of years into pure desolation. Welcome to the harsh Horn of Africa, a brutal landscape shaped by the sun and endless sands. The cracked earth screams for moisture, yet within this seemingly dead, barren wasteland, life finds a way. A solitary twisted tree stands defiant, its gnarled branches reaching toward the sky, bearing a heavy burden. Sharp, pale thorns guard its secrets, a formidable defense crafted by natural laws against wandering creatures. Underneath the unforgiving heat of midday, the ancient branches begin to swell outward, revealing their hidden core. The fragile, papery bark peels away, exposing the vulnerable, raw, inner woody flesh to the burning air. Hot winds carry dry dust across plains, whispering ancient tales of survival and endurance. Through the silence, a tiny, glistening droplet slowly emerges, breaking through the scarred, deeply fractured surface like a heavy tear. The sun begins its slow descent, casting long, dramatic shadows across the rocks, while the tree bleeds. The pale sap reacts to brutal air, oxidizing into a deep, profound crimson hue, a true natural marvel. This isolated guardian of the desert offers up its very essence to humanity without making a sound. These hardened tears of the desert hold the heavy weight of ancient rituals, waiting to be gathered. A relentless heat bakes the silent earth, drawing out the precious crimson lifeblood from deep within. Each tiny fracture tells a brutal story, revealing the hidden pain of survival in this wasteland. The dark sap oozes from broken bark, carrying the ancient memories of ancestors through the stillness. Dry winds whisper across the jagged rocks, polishing the hardened tears of myrrh with invisible hands. A single drop reflects the blinding sun, burning with a quiet, deep intensity against the wood. Nomadic tribes watch the changing, harsh seasons, waiting for the perfect, sacred moment to gather them. The bleeding tree stands alone and proud, offering a fragrant gift of sorrow to the world. Deep red crystals form along the trunk, capturing the fleeting essence of time in solid shape. The scorching sand dances around the roots, burying the forgotten secrets of nature beneath the dunes. A heavy aroma fills the empty air, spreading a profound sense of peace across the valley. Shadows lengthen as the intense day fades, cooling the wounded surface of bark in the twilight. The rough texture hides a complex soul, waiting to release its inner magic upon the flames. Nature demands a heavy toll for beauty, forging these bitter gems through struggle and endless heat. The desert guards its treasures with thorns, protecting the sacred resin from harm until the harvest. A timeless cycle of pain and healing quietly unfolds beneath the vast sky, without a witness. A harsh, barren valley stretches endlessly under the unforgiving heat of the sun, hiding ancient secrets. Rough human hands touch the bark, feeling the deep scars left by time, seeking the resin. Dark silhouettes move across the dunes, stepping quietly through the jagged, dry rocks, approaching the trees. A cold iron blade flashes sharply, resting against the delicate, peeling dry bark, making a mark. The brutal harvest begins at dawn, echoing softly across the vast, empty plains, breaking the silence. The sharp metal slices the wood, cutting deeply into the tough, living veins, drawing out blood. Dust devils dance in the distance, swirling violently over the dry, cracked earth, watching the harvest. Pale white liquid floods the wound, bursting outward from the deep, painful cut, dripping down, slowly. The harvesters pause under the heat, breathing heavily in the thick, suffocating air, waiting for time. The harsh wind dries the sap, transforming the pale liquid into dark red, hardening its core. Weeks pass in the barren wasteland, baking the wounded trees under relentless sun, finishing the process. A thick crimson crystal finally forms, clinging tightly to the jagged, scarred bark, like a jewel. The gatherers return to the grove, bringing woven baskets across the shifting sands, claiming their prize. Gentle hands pry the hardened tears, separating the precious resin from the tree, gathering the magic. Baskets fill with dark crimson gold, preparing for a long journey across deserts, changing the world. The moon rises over silent, endless sands, casting a silver glow upon the path of ancient empires. Polished crystal fragments gleam under pale light, reflecting the heavy weight of immense wealth across the dark. A massive caravan stretches across vast dunes, carrying fragrant treasures through the cold night towards distant lands. Heavy leather pouches sag beneath the weight, hiding dark crimson jewels from curious eyes. Until the dawn, giant beasts of burden walk very slowly, leaving deep, rhythmic footprints in soft sand as hours pass. A single bead of myrrh softly rattles, striking against bronze coins within the pouch, creating hidden music. The perilous Incense Route spans vast territories, demanding immense courage from those who travel for eternal glory. Intricate ancient maps rest on rough cloth, showing forgotten trails drawn with dark ink, guiding the way. Torches flicker violently in the freezing wind, illuminating the exhausted faces of brave merchants, pushing ever forward. Raw, uncut chunks of dried sacred sap radiate a profound earthy and bitter scent into the chill. Starlit skies stretch above the moving shadows, guarding the long, perilous journey across time, without any judgment. A master trader holds a flawless piece, examining its deep ruby core under firelight, checking the purity. Distant ancient city walls finally appear ahead, standing tall against the lonely desert horizon, promising great riches. Golden scales wait patiently in the shadows, preparing to measure the crimson desert tears against pure gold. The long night surrenders to breaking dawn, ushering the fragrant cargo into human history, forever altering fate. The grand gates of the ancient city open, welcoming the heavily burdened, weary desert travelers into the light. Heavy leather sacks are dropped onto stone floors, releasing a rich, deep, spicy, earthy aroma into the market. Bustling ancient markets echo with loud, overlapping voices, negotiating the heavy price of sacred tears. Beneath fabric tents, polished brass scales shine brightly in the sunlight, waiting to measure the priceless red crystals with absolute precision. Wealthy noblemen gather around the foreign desert merchants, inspecting the rare, fragrant treasures from afar with greedy eyes. A master trader drops a dark ruby crystal, hearing the sharp, distinct metallic ringing sound upon the brass. Armed guards watch over the massive royal treasury, protecting the fragile, bloody tears of myrrh from desperate thieves. Solid gold bars slide onto the opposite scale, tipping the balance with heavy, cold wealth against the resin. The entire economy of a vast, growing empire balances upon these tiny, bitter, dark drops of dried sap. The golden needle sways gently in the wind, finding the perfect, exact equilibrium of value between two worlds. Kings trade massive armies for the sacred fragrance, sending fleets across the treacherous open seas to secure more. An ancient scribe writes upon dry, brittle parchment, recording the incredible, staggering wealth of myrrh with dark ink. Great stone temples rise high above the city, demanding a constant, endless supply of resin for the gods. Golden coins cascade over the dark crimson crystals, burying the organic, natural magic beneath greed and human desire. The fragrant smoke begins to fill the sky, marking the true, glorious peak of civilization built on tears. Massive stone pillars rise into the dark sky. Thick, fragrant smoke spirals towards the heavens, honoring ancient gods. A glowing red ember burns upon the altar, melting the dark crimson crystals into liquid, releasing true power. High priests walk slowly through the grand halls, chanting sacred, forgotten hymns in deep unison, creating a trance. Ornate golden censers swing heavily on brass chains, scattering divine fragrant ash across the floor, purifying the space. The mighty emperor watches from a golden throne, breathing the heavy, intoxicating scent of royalty, feeling absolute control. Thick, Aromatic oil drips slowly from polished bronze, capturing the profound bitter essence of myrrh inside a vessel. Thousands of loyal subjects bow before the steps, surrendering to the overwhelming power of fragrance in pure awe. A delicate silver spoon crushes the sacred tears, grinding the dried blood of the desert into fine powder. Sacred flames dance wildly inside the giant braziers, illuminating the magnificent, towering statues of stone with flickering light. White smoke billows outward from the burning core, carrying silent human prayers into the unknown, beyond the sky. Royal musicians play ancient harps in the background, blending sweet, sad melodies with the smoke, setting the mood. The intricate carvings on the temple wall glow, reflecting the intense heat of burning myrrh. Telling ancient myths, an aura of intense mysticism surrounds the empire, elevating mortal men to the divine realm through sheer scent. A single unburned tear rests on a pedestal, waiting patiently for its ultimate fiery sacrifice. At the end, the entire sanctuary falls into a deep trance, wrapped completely in the sacred, bitter cloud, touching the infinite. Deep underground inside the silent royal tomb, ancient shadows prepare the final grand ritual for the king. A sharp black obsidian blade cuts flesh, opening the mortal shell of the fallen with cold precision. Master embalmers stand over the empty vessel, removing fragile organs to stop inevitable decay. Under flickering light, handfuls of dark crimson myrrh pour inside, filling the hollow, empty chest cavity completely, replacing the heart. The lavish golden burial chamber awaits silently, holding immense treasures for the mysterious afterlife in absolute stillness. Coarse linen thread sews the cold skin, trapping the bitter sacred tears deep inside. Forever and always. Chanting priests invoke the great jackal god, guiding the lost royal soul through darkness towards eternal peace. Thick, fragrant oil smears across pale skin, preserving the dead human flesh against time with dark magic. Endless rolls of white linen wrap tightly, binding the king into a perfect cocoon of pure resin. Sacred golden amulets rest on wrapped layers, sinking slowly into the hardening myrrh crust, protecting the spirit. A massive stone sarcophagus opens its jaws, waiting to consume the heavily perfumed corpse into the deep. Molten myrrh pours over the carved lid, sealing the tomb with a heavy fragrance, locking the door. Mourners weep loudly outside the hidden valley, lamenting the heavy, brutal price of immortality. Under the sun, a single stray tear of bitter myrrh rests forgotten upon the dusty stone floor, smelling like death. Heavy stone blocks slide into final place, burying the fragrant secret of the pharaoh in total darkness. Centuries drift away like silent ghosts, leaving only a dark, fragrant legacy behind the gold. A brilliant golden mask shines perfectly, hiding the hollow, empty, dark truth beneath its smile. The immortal pharaoh travels through shadows, seeking the eternal, distant, promised afterlife in absolute silence. Dark crimson resin binds the bones, preserving the tragic, heavy, fragile shell against inevitable decay. Anubis weighs the silent, heavy heart, judging the profound, bitter life choices upon the scale. A lingering scent of bitter myrrh permeates the cold, heavy stone walls, defying endless time. The great empire slowly crumbles away, burying the glorious, powerful, ancient kings beneath the sand. A tiny fragment of hardened sap holds the heavy weight of empires within its core. Modern explorers open the forgotten tomb, inhaling the sudden, overwhelming sweet decay of the past. The golden face stares blindly outward, keeping the final tragic, unspoken secrets of the grave. The journey returns to the kitchen, staring at the deep red crystals with new eyes. A simple glass jar sits silently, containing the blood of ancient gods on the counter. A hand holds a single tear, feeling the immense, tragic human history resting right there. The bitter fragrance softly fades away, leaving a profound, quiet, lingering thought about false eternity. True immortality lives not in gold, but in the dark, fragrant memory of the earth.